Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, you are watching What You Need. Shout out to PsychoBoxing 305. He asked this question: are you going to do more of the Pivot series? Well, PsychoBoxing 305, I actually finished that series, but there's always a lot more to say on pivoting. I will use Floyd Mayweather Jr. Mosley as an example of using the pivot for various things. And I use him as an example because that's one of the primary things he used to be successful in the ring. So let's get to it. So the first use of the pivot Mayweather uses here will be against Diego Corrales. Notice he's going to throw the lead right and pivot to the weak side of Diego Corrales. Throws the jab, and as he throws the jab, he's pivoting as he throws the jab. Watch it again. He's going to lead right and pivot. Feints inside and then throws the jab and pivots. Throws the jab again and pivots. Throws the jab again and pivots. What this allows is for his opponent not to be able to hit him in a straight line or respond to him. He's moving out the way of any possible counterattack, and he can also roll the punch if necessary. Now, I always speak about the back foot pivot, and you're going to see that on display here when Mayweather faces Miguel Cotto. And there's 3 successive back foot pivots that cause him to make a circle. So he is hitting Cotto with an uppercut, and he forms a tight circle to keep Cotto from countering him. He turns Cotto. You always turn your opponent. I'm going to show you what happened. Here's that uppercut right there. Back foot pivot, and back foot pivot to cut that very sharp circle. Here it is again, uppercut, back foot pivot, back foot pivot, back foot pivot. Now we're going to look at Floyd versus Andre Berto. In this case, the pivot again offsets the opponent from attacking or countering. So he throws the jab, pivots, throws the right hook, pivots, throws the jab again, and pivots, throws the right hook, and snaps back. That way Andre Berto cannot even make his jab effective, which you will see him throw the jab there. He's missing. He'll throw the jab again, right there, and miss because Floyd continuously is turning him. And that's the beauty of using the pivot. Now we enter the Zen territory. Mayweather versus Pacquiao. This is just a master boxer at work. Subtle change of angle. Watch it. One more time. I'll slow it down. Pacquiao's throwing the jab. A very subtle pivot hits Pacquiao right in the liver area. The pivot can be used to set up your opponent so you can counter them. In the case of Floyd Mayweather versus Shane Mosley, such was the case. Mosley threw a double jab, as you ought to hit Floyd to the pit. He ended up going down the wrong line and Floyd countered him. Let's see it in slow motion. Floyd pivots on the first hook, and the second hook he pivots again to line up that straight right. There are a number of things the pivot affords. 1, you don't have to move excessively. It calls for a turning action. And 2, you're able to exploit angles. For instance, most opponents can't attack other than in a straight line. So if you change the angle of approach or you change the angle of defense, they go down the wrong line. You guys have a great one.